Define Britain in your own words.
I would define Britain as a multiracial country. I define it as a very fair country. And I think it's a country that accommodates all nationalities quite adequately.
Hopefully free from problems.
Do you think there's a lot of problems in Britain right now?
There's a lot that could be made better. I don't think there's any particular terrible problems, but we can always make it a little better for everyone.
Would you like to identify any of the problems that are in Britain at the moment?
I think the government should work for everybody, not just the few.
Probably, and it's an easy place, isn't it? It's an easy place to come to and get everything you want, really, isn't it? If you really wanted to, you could come here and get a house and and get a job, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Britain is, isn't it? It's a place to come to, isn't it?
To be British, I think a sense of fairness. I don't know what the right word is, but I think we're sort of laid back and tolerant, mostly, as a whole. I think in any society you're going to get extremes, but I think on the whole, most people here are tolerant. What else does it mean to be British? Sense of humour.
Okay.
We like an underdog. I think
Britain's like
Okay, so what makes Britain? Why is Britain unique apart from the other countries?
multicultural straight up.
Multicultural, yeah.
Without it, we wouldn't have options to that.
Currently. And what, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It's a great thing, bro. Like,
Not much these days, not much at all. I bear in mind I'm in my 89th year, so we've seen a lot of changes. And Britain to me seems to be going down. We're getting untidy, we're getting too many immigrants coming in. Great, those who come in are fine, but those who are coming in on the back of lorries and what have you, I think something ought to be done about that.
This is Solihull, right?
Solihull, yes.
So how would you compare it to a place like London?
London, I would say, is a lot more cosmopolitan because of the large ratio of nationalities that live there. But Solihull copes quite well with its fair share of multiracial people living in the society.
I'm going to get into a bit of politics now. So David Cameron got elected again, right? And what do you think that's going to have an influence on Solihull? Do you think it's going to help it, or is it going to...
I think it will help it in two folds. If we look at the economics of the country, Solihull is a fairly progressive town. It's got a large, very successful Land Rover company in Solihull that generates quite a lot of income to the area. And if the economy stays on the course that it has been doing for the past 5 years with a Conservative government, then I think Solihull should fare quite well financially.
Do you think there's a lot of immigrants coming into Solihull?
I don't know about immigration or immigrants coming in, but the population is getting more mixed than it's ever been before.
And do you think this creates a big problem for Britain, or is it getting better for Britain?
It's getting worse for Britain.
Why do you think
People
that?
have got to realise we're a small island.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with immigration. What's wrong with immigration is uncontrolled immigration. We don't need to keep bringing people in to take jobs. We need to train people we've got who are unemployed to take those jobs.
Yes.
So what about the rest of the people? Because people don't really like the fact that David Cameron, is elected again, but it's because their votes didn't really make it to the count, which is why he's government again. So what do you say for the others that don't really feel the way he was elected?
I think the way I would look at it, I think looking where we've come from with...
But people say he helps the rich and he don't really help the poor,
Yes, people do say that, but I think if he helps the rich and the rich are able to invest and buy companies which employs people, then people can, from all levels, progress. If he's only helping the poor, and the poor are not in a position to make investments and make the country more prosperous, they won't exactly help that much, really. So I think, obviously, if you have got the means to get richer, then you will get richer. But there's always a possibility that you can bring the poor up with you at the same time.
So we're going to go into a bit of politics now. So David Cameron, he's been elected. A good thing or a bad thing?
It depends which side of the spectrum you're on. If you're a rich person, obviously it's good for you. Because you're able, because like we know the NHS is going to get privatised.
Okay.
So obviously, people who are rich enough to afford their own private healthcare are going to benefit. But whereas someone who's on the other side of the spectrum, who's like just struggling to get to earn a basic minimum wage, they're gonna have a hard time. We're moving back instead of moving forward, in my opinion.
And how would you feel? So what, is that a good thing for you or a bad thing for you?
For me, like, alhamdulillah, I'm blessed. Like, I've got it on a plate, if you get me. But like, I feel bad for the people who don't have it.
Like your friends, have you got any friends that
Yeah, I know people who are going to struggle now. I do, yeah.
You're saying the government only works for a few. Do you think they're just working for the upper classes and not considering the working class?
I think they work for the upper classes, and I think they work for the lazy. I don't think they work for the working man.
And what reforms could Britain make for everyone to be treated equally?
Well, they could increase the income tax to 60% for people earning more than 200,000, and the unemployed should actually earn less than the minimum wage to get them up off their bums and out to work.
Cameron wants to cut benefits, but he don't want to cut the bankers, though, does he? His banker friends who've got all the money. He's not saying nothing about that, is he? That's what you got to look at. It all revolves around money, not politics. If you've got the money, you don't care, do you? Because you've got money. See, like in other countries, yeah, that it's crooked and everyone can see it, but it's still crooked here. But they hide it better with big fancy words.
As there's a lot of immigrants coming in right now to Britain, do you think that is adding to the problems, or it's not affecting Britain at all?
I think everything should be regulated. We should not be a free-for-all for the scroungers of the world. If they want to come here and work, they come here to work. If they want to come here to sit on their butts, I think they'd be tossed out.
Fair enough, it is in many cases. You know, I know lots of people, they come and they work and are honest people. You know, and I'm talking about the French and all sorts, you know. Not just Africans and Indians and all those, everything. We seem to be having everybody who come into the country and take us as they're scroungers, a lot of them, you know. I know people work hard and all the rest of it, but we're going down. Everywhere's getting in tide. I used to be in business many years ago, in ladies' bits and bobs. We couldn't allow to put anything out on the pavement. Now our foreign friends, as I call them, they come, they've got all the pavement, you can't get one way or the other.
If we take many more people in, the island is going to sink. We can't keep taking people in. It's not like France or Germany where you've got vast expanses of ground you could build on. We haven't.
But what about when British people who are on benefits do not want to work certain jobs, but immigrants do? What do you think of that?
Well, anybody who's on benefits and doesn't want to work should have the benefits stopped after a certain time. All people should be given the chance to be trained to work. If they don't take that opportunity, then they must pay the consequences.
I think people coming in from other countries, like Asian people, they've got a very long extended family. Do you think that's having a sort of effect on British values again about family and stuff?
I think so, because I mean, when my daughter went to school, she's got so many friends from different backgrounds, and I think that's one of the things we talked about with her, that she saw that, you know, with her friends, that family is so important, and I think that's maybe had you know, a sort of bigger effect into like English families, definitely. I think she's seen that. Yeah, I mean, my husband is Irish, and there's also that sense of family as well that wasn't always, or it went. It did go. I think we did lose that for a while.
Oh yes.
Why do you think that? Is it because of immigration, or?
I think in general it's the way of the world. We've become Americanised.
Yeah.
And that means that not everybody, we've got to talk generally, have lost the values, they've lost respect. They've lost respect for themselves, they've lost respect for everybody else, and everybody else's values. I suppose what people my age can't accept is young couples settling down together and having a family, then deciding to get married.
Yeah.
The fact in the old days, people in families lived close to one another. You had an aunt lived up the street, you had another aunt lived in the next road.
Yeah.
So that, you know, it was a family group. That doesn't happen